Hi my friends, and welcome back. I'm George Pierce, and I want to thank you for watching. This video is about thumbnails. I'm going to get into some thumbnail basics and a lot more. And thumbnails are very important to your channel, so stay tuned, and I do want you to stick around also for my bonus. I'm going to give you a simple and easy thumbnail test, just a simple common sense thumbnail test that I'm sure will help you as well. There's a lot to cover, so we need to get right to it. Before we do, just a reminder, this channel is about growing your YouTube channel and making money online as an affiliate. If either of those are of interest, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell. That way you're not going to miss out on these videos when they get published. What you're about to discover are some of the thumbnail basics. And these are things that you really need to know about thumbnails so you can make better thumbnails. I'm also going to touch upon some of the common thumbnail mistakes so that perhaps you're making them, perhaps you're not, but you need to be aware of them so you don't make them. And as I mentioned, a common thumbnail test, and I'm going to actually share several tests with you, you might say, from A/B testing to visual testing. Now, your thumbnail's job, what is your thumbnail's job? Its primary job is to get clicks. That's what it's all about. If you got a good thumbnail, you're going to get clicks. And so what we want to do is create good thumbnails so we can get more clicks. And your thumbnail works along with your title. Your title and your thumbnail kind of work together. What you want them to do is help your video to get discovered, so to speak. So your thumbnail needs to grab attention as well as your title. And of course, they need to accurately describe your content. Whatever your video is about, they need to accurately describe your video. Now, in order to grab attention, your thumbnail has to be engaging. It has to actually stand out. So how do we get our thumbnails to stand out, kind of jump off that page? Let's get into some basic, simple thumbnail ingredients. First thing I want to talk about is color, because color matters. You have bright colors, bold colors. I want to share with you that yellow is probably the most important color. Yellow attracts attention. It activates more of our eye when we see yellow, so it activates more of our brain, and therefore yellow is proven to get more clicks. So if you include some yellow in your thumbnails, that is going to help get it clicks, just the color yellow. The science behind that is actually that yellow triggers more receptors in the eye and therefore triggers our brain. Now, what you should be seeing here is a complementary color wheel, and what that simply is, whatever's on the opposite sides, those colors complement each other. So in other words, red and green, complementary colors. Orange and blue are complementary colors. Yellow and purple are complementary colors. I think you get the idea. And these, of course, are going to help your thumbnails to stand out. You want a bright background, and typically what most YouTubers are doing, which is a good idea, is they're eliminating the background on their image. And one of the things that you're going to hear is to use your image, and I'm going to give you like two sides of the story on that one, but that's not bad advice. But if you use your image, which is excellent for branding, then you want to use an image that is basically a face image, sort of a close-up image, and you want one that's typically you want one that is with eye contact. You don't want something that's looking away. This is for YouTube thumbnails. And then typically you're going to remove that image, and you can remove that image. PicMaker is a kind of a one-stop place to do it all. Remove BG, remove.bg is excellent for removing background automatically, and so is PicMaker, PICMAKER.com. PICMAKER.com. It's an excellent tool that pretty much will do everything that you want it to do, and both of those are 100% free. When you remove the background, then you may want to put an outline. A lot of YouTubers are putting outlines behind the image or around the image, and that kind of helps that to stand out a little bit more as well. PicMaker will do that. It's the Stickerify STICKERIFY, but on the image just click on sticker and it will do it for you automatically, and then you can pick the color of the outline that you want. You can have a black outline, white outline, yellow outline, whatever color you want to outline it with. Well, after you do that, then you want to remove then you want to add background, and typically that would be a complementary color. So in other words, in this case, you see that I'm wearing a blue shirt. Not a bad idea to have a complementary color, so kind of that orange and blue, those are complementary colors. And as you might be able to see on this chart, this is from PicMaker. PicMaker's got it figured out for you. So PicMaker will kind of tell you what colors you should have as complementary on the custom color chart. It's time to add your text, and you want that text to stand out. Not too much text, and I'm going to get into that in a little bit later, but you want that text to stand out. Now the next thing I want to share with you is that there is some conflicting data about using your own image. Based on statistics, if you don't use an image, you're more likely to get more clicks. If you're trying to brand yourself and brand your channel, then by all means you should use an image. And I will use an image in most cases, but every once in a while I won't. It is not etched in stone, but if you do not use an image, you're more likely to get more clicks. So in other words, a text-only thumbnail is more likely to get clicks. And so if you're going to use maybe a text-only thumbnail but still want to do some branding, you could do a small logo, as you can see here, or maybe a small image. Now I also want to talk about size, because size does matter. I know it's not supposed to matter, but on thumbnails it does matter. The size that's going to work best for YouTube is 1280 pixels wide, and 720 high, 720 pixels high. If you're using a site like PicMaker, then usually you don't have to worry about size, because PicMaker is going to automatically do that size for you. Allow me to touch upon some of the mistakes that YouTubers tend to make, and I'm guilty. I think we're all guilty. It seems like we always have to learn the hard way, but let me share some of the common mistakes. And one is that we use too many words, and that's sometimes hard to not use too many words. But supposedly 3 or 4 words is our best choice, and we shouldn't go over 6 words on our text. So try to keep your text on your thumbnail to a minimum. It will get you more clicks. Now, the other mistake that a lot of YouTubers do is they parrot the title. Title is about fishing or sewing or whatever, then typically most YouTubers are going to put that title on their thumbnail. Well, unfortunately, you're missing an opportunity. Your title is already telling them what it's about. Okay, so you can use your thumbnail to tell them even more. It's an opportunity for you to share a little bit more about your video, and the idea is that hopefully you can hook them with your title and or hook them with your thumbnail. So you got kind of 2 chances to hook them instead of just 1. So don't miss out on that opportunity by parroting your title onto your thumbnail. Another major mistake or common mistake is that your text is too small, and I'm going to share something with you in just a little bit that's going to help you with that. Because, well, how do I know if it's too small? And I'm going to share a feature that PicMaker has that will help you with that. The idea is that you want your text to stand out and you want it to be easy to read. The other thing that you should be doing that most people are not, and that is to split test your thumbnails. Now, unfortunately, split testing them for free, the only way that I know of that you can do that is manually, and that's really not you don't want to. It's not worth it. But like with anything else that you do in marketing, thumbnails is one of the marketing tactics or strategies or whatever you want to call it, is one of the marketing tools that you use. And therefore we need to split test. Now again, I don't know of any free options, and most paid options unfortunately are kind of expensive. The least expensive option that I found and that I use is a split tester. Actually it's an artificial intelligent thumbnail maker as well as a split tester. It's around $37 or less. I'll leave a link below. It is a paid option, but on the other hand, if you're brand new, you should be able to create some impressive thumbnails in under 60 seconds. But the feature that I like is the of course, the split test. Now, I'm not trying to sell you on PicMaker, but if you use PicMaker, then after you're done with the thumbnail, before you publish, hit the preview button. So it's going to help you to know exactly what your thumbnail is going to look like. It's going to help you to know if your text is too small. And this kind of ties in with my bonus feature, which is just a simple common sense method that I use. And I want to share it with you because I think it might be of help to you as well. Then, once you publish your video, find your video in search, and then assess your thumbnail. Look at your thumbnail and look at the other thumbnails. Look at your competition. Does it stand out? And what you should be seeing right now, in my opinion, it did not stand out. My thumbnail was coming in third spot on page 1. That's wonderful. But it's kind of blah. I want people to click that thumbnail. You want people to click your thumbnail. So simply look at it. If it's blah, go back to PicMaker or wherever you're creating or whatever you're using your thumbnails with. Make some changes and come up with a new thumbnail that pops a little bit more, that has more pop. And usually that is simply to get some bolder colors, and that's simply what I did. So I took away from the background and added to the text, and especially woodworking, as you can see, and I want the woodworking to kind of jump out. The click-through rate is actually 4.3%. I was hoping to be a little bit higher. Anything over 3% is supposed to be a good click-through rate, so 4.3% is certainly okay, but now here's a thumbnail, for example, that it does happen to be in the #1 spot, and that does give it a slight advantage. And the reason why I share that with you is because this particular thumbnail has an 8.3 click-through rate. And the point I want to make is that an 8.3 click-through rate is virtually twice as good. That's almost 2 times the views as a 4.3 click-through rate. So when I say thumbnails are important, I'm not kidding. If you've got a 2 or 3% click-through rate, and you can jump it up to 4 or 6 or 8, you can increase your views by 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, just by your thumbnail. If you like this video, give it a big old thumbs up. I'd appreciate that. Do that right now. And if you haven't subscribed, for goodness sake, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so that YouTube's going to notify you when these videos get published. My friends, I thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Allow me to wish you much success.